Well, it's Tuesday Wrestling, and you all know what that means. That means we got some incredible reviews we're definitely going to be doing. First things first, we're going to be reviewing the latest GLEAT show, G Pro Wrestling version 56. This originally happened on the 16th of July, but later it was in fact uploaded today, which is the 18th of July as well. But that's not will be the only thing, because we are going to be heading to the mega show that's taking place real soon, starting early August. Then we move on with day 3 of the G1 Climax, where A block and B block continues on. Now we're still in the early stages of the tournament, but anything could change until then. And of course we have NWA Powerrr. As you know, we're building up all the way to NWA 65, which is going to be a show ever. And of course, they already have the Showdown to determine who will be the next challengers for the United States Tag Team titles. And of course, we have both NWA World titles for the men, the NWA World Television titles defended from both men and the women's at the same, well, not at the same time, but more of the same show. And of course, we cap it up with NXT, where we have, of course, heading to the Great American Bash. But however, the North American title is going to be defended by Wesley against Dominic Mysterio. That's going to be a very interesting matchup to watch. And then finally, we have some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay Radier. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. If you like this channel, please click subscribe. If you even like this episode, please subscribe. We'll be throwing a lot of daily wrestling reviews. So let's get started with our very first one. Our very first one is from the Japanese promotion GLEAT. This is G Pro Wrestling version 56. Originally was taped on the 16th of July, but it was broadcast on the YouTube channel on the 18th, which is of course Tuesday. It opened up with the contract signing for the G-Rex Championship. T-Hawk defends his title against Hayato Tamura. Now Tamura recently, in the last show that they did, issued the challenge, and of course T-Hawk had no reasons to, say no. However, we former wrestler and of course Dragon Gate star Masato Yoshino was mediating the whole contract signing, which was great. He's been on becoming like much of a mediator when it comes to championship titles in GLEAT. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, our first match, it features a six-man tag team match. We have Yuya Suzumu, Seichi Seto, and Minoru Tanaka taking on Yu Iizuka, Jun Toncho, and Kaz Hayashi. There seems to be a little bit of the animosity in certain parts of the opposite side between Sato and Toncho. As you all know, those two were part of what was the span group known as 60 Seconds. 60 Seconds lost in a 4-on-3 match against Bulk Orchestra. Sato was not happy with the results with it instead, but we do know that he did not show any respect with Bulk Orchestra. Only his former teammates did. However, Sato did show a lot of promising when he applied a somewhat of a suplex move onto Toncho. I don't know if he treats it like it's payback for what happened all that time. But yeah, so Sato was able to pick up a win for his team, and there it is. Our next match, we have the Yans family, consisting of Issei Onitsuka and Yusuke Kodama, taking on Fire Katsumi from GTO. He teams up with Junji. I had a feeling this match was going to be, in fact, fall in favor of the Yans family, since they're well established, and this is they face against a makeshift team. But it was a great, excuse me, a great teamwork between Kodama and Onitsuka when Onitsuka applied a spear, and of course then leave the rest to Kodama when he applied the frog splash onto Katsumi. 1, 2, 3, it's over, just like that. Next match, we have Magnitude Kashiwada. Oh, my bad. He teams with Tsuji, but Fire Katsumi was the one who teamed up with Seichi Ikimoto. My bad. So they take on against the members of Black Generation International, that consisted of Kotaro Suzuki and Hartley Jackson. Now, this match, I knew this was going to fall into favor of the Black Generation International, who are establishing their dominance in GLEAT. However, it was, of course, the Mahastral by Suzuki onto Junji to pick up the win. However, that doesn't end there. Here comes the leader, Kaito Ishida, who it seems that he has some interest of integrating newer members. So he calls out Seichi Sato and Yuya Suzumu. Now, it appears that Sato accepted the offer to join Black Generation International, since, of course, 60 Seconds is no longer existence. So he joins Black Generation International. But Suzumu, I don't know what's his deal, but he doesn't seem like he's interested or whatever. But basically, they gain a new member. But I don't know about what Tonsho or Izushi will be doing, since they're no longer part of 60 Seconds. Now, our next match, we have a bit of a showdown amongst members of Bulk Orchestra. Now, there appears to have been some animosity amongst each other with the return of Ruchi Kawakami, who was out for quite some time, leaving Bulk Orchestra on their own. Basically, Kawakami got involved in the face of Kazuma Sakamoto. Quiet Storm tried to be the peacemaker, but seems that every time things go wrong, Quiet Storm gets a little pissed. But however, it was more of, the match was like, let all that frustration out in some capacity. And I think that sets the story well, knowing that Quiet Storm tried to prove, to tell everybody, we are the #1 unit in GLEAT. However, Quiet Storm was able to pick up a good one when he rolled up Kami and all this. But during the post-match promo, I wasn't too sure how this was going to go. I had that feeling that maybe Kawakami will step down as the leader. But however, it appears that the others did not want that. They wanted him to stay. And of course, he settled things right with Quiet Storm. They reconciled. So basically, he apologized to everyone, but mostly to Quiet Storm and Sakamoto. It appears that everything turned out for the great for everybody. Now, before the next match, we had a little interesting sparring session going on in the ring between Shima and Masato Yoshino. Now, these two guys go way back, all the way from their Dragon Gate days. Was very unusual, but it was great that two friends get to spar in the front, just to get things going. Now, our next match, this is somewhat of a preview before their big match. We have Strong Hearts, consistent of Shigehiro Iri and T-Hawk, taking on the members of Bulk Orchestra, consistent of Kazuma Sakamoto and Hayato. I thought this match was very brutal, because I know for a fact Tamura would want to prove once again why he should be the one to dethrone T-Hawk from the title. But however, T-Hawk was the one who picked up a big knee strike on Sakamoto to pick up a win and have his team win. Now, our main event is a very unusual 6-man tag match. We have Tetsuya Izushi, formerly leader of 60 Seconds. He teams with Bulk Orchestra Galeno de Mal, and leader of the Yans family, Takanori Ito. They take on against Soma Watanabe, who is not affiliated with any group. We have Czech Shimatani from Bulk Orchestra, and then finally El Lindemann from Strong Hearts. I thought this match was pretty good, but however, the one person X Factor that kind of set the whole thing is Galeno de Mal. The dude is a big effing mother. You know what I mean? That kind of is the threat. However, in this case, it was, of course, a German suplex by Lindemann onto Ito to pick up the win. However, it appears that there's some Ishida comes out to put some records straight, so I don't know exactly what was all about. There was him, Lindemann, a few others. So I don't know what's that all about, but hopefully some things will become clear. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for GLEAT. So it's time for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, so the G1 Climax by New Japan Pro Wrestling. We are now in day 3. However, we're only going to focus on the A and B blocks only. Now, we already have day 1. Most people already have like at least 2 points, but I know there was a draw recently between Ren Narita and Shota Umino. But we'll see how that turns out. Now, let's get started with our very first match. Starting with the A block, we have Chase Owens versus Kaito Kiyomiya. Now, for the record, these two guys were tie and tie with their first 2 wins. I have to say, Kaito Kiyomiya did have an impressive win, but Chase Owens, I don't know how he's been feeling since, of course, he was viciously attacked by his own brethren, of course, Gabriel Kidd. But however, Kaito Kiyomiya showed exactly who he is when he applied none other than the Shining Wizard, giving himself another 2 points, giving the total of 4. So basically, he is currently undefeated. While Chase Owens, this is his first loss, so he is currently 2-0. Basically, he only has 1 win and 1 loss. B block, we have Kenta versus Great Okan. Now, these two in their first matches, they completely lost. The Great Okan lost to who was it? He lost to Eddie Kingston, I think. Yeah, no, not Eddie Kingston. Fudge, forgot. I know Kenta lost to. Forgot who it was that they lost to. But yes, they had a really good, interesting. But however, this is a very brutal match. Now, you know Kenta, he will do whatever it takes to pick up win, no matter any cost. However, he did use the ropes in his advantage to pick up a pinfall against the Great Okan, and this is the 2nd consecutive loss by Great Okan. But as for Kenta, this is his first 2 points, so he's currently 1 win and 1 loss. That's his record for right now for the G1. Now, A block, we have Hikuleo versus Gabriel Kidd. Now, much like Kenta and Great Okan, they both had 1 loss each. However, I had a feeling that Gabriel Kidd would do whatever it takes to pick up a win by attacking him from behind, try to soften him up. But of course, Hikuleo had to use whatever strength possible in order not to lose to Gabriel Kidd. But however, Gabriel Kidd was able to counter Hikuleo and then applied a pile driver, giving him the win. So currently he has 2 points, while Hikuleo is currently winless with no wins whatsoever. Next up, we have for the B block, Tongaloa taking on Taichi. Now, these two guys really did have 2 wins. Tongaloa, I believe he had a match against Kenta. Taichi against Will Ospreay. I thought that was a pretty good match. However, this is a very interesting one. But it took only 2 tries for Taichi to apply the Taichi clutch in order to pick up a good win against Tongaloa. But nonetheless, both from this record, Tongaloa, this is his first loss so far, so he is 1 win and 1 loss with 2 points. As for Taichi, currently undefeated with 4 points with just 2 wins. Now, we're back to the A block. This is a long time coming between these two guys, Yota Tsuji versus Ren Narita. Now, these guys originally came from the same dojo class together at the New Japan dojo until they went to their respective factions. Ren Narita went to the LA dojo to train under Katsuyori Shibata. As for Yota Tsuji, he ended up going to Rev Pro, then Mexico. But recently, Yota Tsuji did put out some comments that Shibata was a failure as a teacher because of his students. Clark Connors, as you know, felt like he wasn't going nowhere. Same thing with Gabriel Kidd and all that. But however, Ren Narita did not give up no matter what. I mean, Yota Tsuji, he is a strong, powerful guy, what he can do. But however, this match ended in a time limit draw up to 20 minutes, giving each of these competitors 1 point each. But right now, the total record in this one, Yota Tsuji has 1 point, which is a draw, no wins and no losses. And as for Ren Narita, he already had a draw with Shota Umino. He already had 1 point, but having another draw here with Yota Tsuji, that's another point right there. So that's a total of 2 points. So basically, no wins, no losses so far. Now back to B block, we have Yoshihashi versus Will Ospreay. These two guys are no strangers to each other. If you guys remember history all too well, Will Ospreay was a member of the Chaos until he turned his back on Kazuchika Okada to start the United Empire. But however, I thought it was a very good match where Yoshihashi had that never say die attitude, never give up. But unfortunately, Will Ospreay was able to pick up a good win when he displayed a move kind of like a spiral jump off the turnbuckle, but he calls it the leap of faith, and that allowed him to pick up the win. But recently, during a post-match comments, he said that he wants to chisel the American flag out of the title because it turned into the Intercontinental title. He feels that everybody's doing whatever they want, but he's going to do it. He said that New Japan's not going to do a damn thing about it. But I highly doubt that New Japan's going to allow that to happen because they need that belt regardless. Now our next match is back to the A block. We have Shota Umino versus Sanada. I thought this match was also going to be good because Shota Umino has shown a lot of promising since he returned to Japan. I mean, he walks out to the audience just like Moxley. He looks like Tanahashi, but he talks like Naito, so that sort of thing. But man, that match was total brutality in every way possible. But it was Sanada that applied the deadfall to pick up a good win. So he's currently undefeated with 4 points, so only 2 wins. As for Shota Umino, he only has 1 loss and a draw. So basically, he had a draw match against Ren Narita, which ended in 1 point each. So that's for that. Now our main event is B block. We have El Phantasmo versus Kazuchika Okada. Now you know that this was going to be a lot of fun. However, it didn't do well for El Phantasmo because he ended up on the wrong side of the Rainmaker, giving the Rainmaker himself, Kazuchika Okada, to pick up a good win. So right now, El Phantasmo has no points whatsoever, so he has 2 losses. As for Kazuchika Okada, only 4 points with 2 wins. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's move on with NWA Powerrr. Okay, NWA Powerrr. Opening match, we have Alex Taylor versus Colby Corino, who just made his return. Now, this is a very good match for Colby Corino. As you know, he's been trying to make a statement to be the next challenger against Kerry Morton for the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title. So the only way to get through this is to win a few more matches in hopes that he can get that opportunity at NWA 75. So he was able to defeat Alex Taylor by applying a very big DDT on him. 1, 2, 3. Good night. Just like that. Now, our next match is a title match. We have the NWA World Television title. Tom Latimer defends it against a guy named Mario Padua. Don't know much about him, but I can tell you that this match ended exactly 1 minute and 42 seconds to spare after Tom Latimer applied of course, the crossface, but it's only a matter of time until he has his 7 wins. He will cash it in and get an opportunity for the NWA World Heavyweight title. Now, we do get a very interesting interview. Valentine interviews Kenzie and Kylie Page. Kylie Page gave the reasons because they know about this. About the question was the sisters' mindset, so they know exactly what they're both thinking. Now, however, as you know, Kenzie Page is currently the NWA Women's World Television Champion. She has one thing in mind, and she is almost getting closer to having her 7th win. But of course, the one thing that is on her sights is the Burke, the NWA World Women's title that currently is in the possession of Camille. Now, Kenzie Page, she feels that she's being ignored by Camille since she's not paying attention. I feel Camille is not, sees her as a threat, but of course we know that Kenzie Page is someone she shouldn't be underestimated. She even has friends that would help her out, so that sort of thing can tell. But we'll see when that day happens. I mean, I would be surprised if that match will take place at the NWA 75. Now, our next interview we have with with Kyle Davis is with Daisy Kill and Talos. Apparently, they are now have their sights set for the NWA United States Tag Team titles. But first thing first, they have to go through Cody James and Jake Dumas, known as the Magic Incorporated. However, they tried many tricks in order to win. They even took Daisy Kill's favorite ukulele, but however that did not work. Neither did CJ, but Talos was able to choke slam Cody James down, and 1, 2, 3, they advance. Now, with the DLC thing with Danny Deals, Reels, that sort of thing, like a TMZ, they get in touch with the Morn saying that there's no one like Kerry Morn and all that stuff. So he's bragging and being a little bit of cockiness about it. Now, we do get another interview with Aaron Stevens with the Blood Force Trauma. As you know, they were unable to succeed in winning the Crockett Cup, but it feels like they want a challenge against the La Rebellion before their actual match on night 2. So they're demanding they get this match on night 1. Aaron Stevens would stop at nothing to get what he wants, is to have Blunt Force Trauma finally become the NWA World Tag Team Champions. As you know, La Rebellion have been the tag champions for nearly 2 years, so it feels like they think it's time for it to stop. Now, our next match, this is part of the United States Tag Team titles Showdown. We have the Spectaculars, Brady Pierce and Russ Freeman taking on the Fixers, the former NWA United States Tag Team Champions. We know they would stop at nothing to get those titles back due to the fact that they felt that losing the titles, they did not want to lose their identity. You see, they never initially, acknowledged the newer titles as the actual titles because the old titles were invalid regardless. But they were unable to succeed to continue on with those. But they were able to pick up a win when they sandwich Russ Freeman, and boom, just like that, they just win. Now, we do get a little interview with Vampiro with May Valentine. As you know, Vampiro has been like the manager for La Rebellion, so he's trying his best to get them up the straight path to ensure that they remain as tag team champions forever. That's the ultimate goal that he wants. Now, we did get a real surprise message from none other than Matt Cardona. So he started doing apologies to everyone about certain things, but he's issuing an open challenge on NWA 75. So the obvious thing is who will respond. That will be a much interesting one as we speak. Now, our main event is the NWA Women's World Television Championship between Samantha Starr and Kenzie Page. I thought this match was pretty good. But Kenzie was able to pick up the win when she applied a cutter, 1, 2, 3, just like that. So she's only a matter of time until she has the match that she wants, NWA 75, for the NWA Women's World Title. So we'll see when that day happens. I think that's pretty much it for now. I believe it's time to move on with our final review, NXT. Okay, our final review, NXT. Now, it opened up with our current NXT champion, Carmelo Hayes, and Trick Williams. Now, Hayes was trying to address the situation that took place last week, and that is, of course, Ilya Dragunov. Now, apparently things did not go according to what Hayes wanted, but Dragunov explained his reasons why. He knows the kind of person Hayes is. He doesn't want him to be, losing to the Judgment Day, that somehow they will weasel their way in to take away the NXT title, which is understandable. I mean, we already saw that where Dominic issued a challenge for the title before Wesley defends it against Mustafa Ali. But that's basically what happened. But however, they will see each other in the Great American Bash regardless. Now, speaking of the North American title, Wesley was getting ready to prepare himself against, of course, Dominic. But Mustafa Ali doesn't like what the situation, how this turns. He knows how dirty the Judgment Day can be. But Wesley feels that he has to do this no matter what. But, of course, he doesn't want Mustafa Ali being there. But I'm sure probably Wesley will regret it the moment that happens. Now, as you know, for a while we've been seeing Tony D'Angelo was in jail for a crime he did not commit. Stacks was waiting for him to, in fact, for Tony D'Angelo to come out of prison and walk away as a free man. Now, our next match, we have Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo taking on Nathan Frazier and Dragon Lee. Now, the only reason this match took place, Yulisa Leon and Valentina Feroz were upset with the fact that their interview at the Supernova session was canceled. But, of course, Garza and Carrillo were trying to get the attention of Feroz and Leon, but they weren't having it. But luckily, their new friends, Frazier and Lee, were able to defend them. Now, I have to say it was a very impressive match for both Garza and Carrillo. I mean, they were able to dodge every move that Frazier and Lee tried to do. But unfortunately, there was a big that things changed until Dragon Lee was able to pin Garza. And I thought it was pretty interesting. Even Frost and Leon were there to support them, and they picked up a very good win. Again, when what's the name? Dragon Lee pinned Garza, and that was it. However, in the post-match, Garza and Carrillo got into each other's faces. It appears that these two will officially implode. So that's something we can see. Now, NXT Anonymous has strike again. Decided to video record a little talk session between both Booker T and Roxanne Perez. As you know, Roxanne Perez is not in a good mood ever since the arrival of Davenport. Davenport has maliciously attacked her after she was unable to win the tournament to regain the NXT Women's title. So that was but Booker T was not happy with the result, and of course Vic was understanding he's pissed. So basically that's what happened. Now, our next match, we have Gigi Dolan versus Kiana James. These guys have been at each other's throats. Kiana James actually applied paint all over Gigi last time, and then of course Gigi remodeled her office. But of course Gigi was going to lose her composure one way or another when she grabbed Kiana James's bag, but the referee tried to take it away from her, but it cost her dearly when of course the 401k got into play and allowing for Kiana James to win the match. So this kind of cost Gigi Dolan anyway. Now, things are not looking good for Ivy Niles. As you know, Diamond Mine is finished. The Creed brothers are gone and that sort of thing. So the real question is, what's next for Ivy Niles? That's something we don't know. We know the Schism offered her to join, but I highly doubt that she will join. So we'll see how that plays out too. Now, during an interview with Eddie Thorpe by Mackenzie, he was supposed to do a Supernova Sessions, but apparently that was canceled because of Noam Dar. He's been depressed since losing the NXT Heritage Cup. So Oro Mensah decided, to put himself in a match against him. So that would happen. Now, our next match, we have Axiom versus Scripps taking on Bronco Lima and Lucian Price. I thought this match was going to be good, but apparently what surprised us, Scripps turned his back on Axiom and allowed for Lima and Price to pick up the win. That sort of thing. I don't know what Scripps has in mind, but Axiom, I know for a fact he's not going to let this one slide. He will come for payback. It's only a matter of time until that happens. Now, we do see the return of Tony D'Angelo. As you know, it was revealed about what really happened. It turns out that behind closed doors, Stacks had a better idea how to free Tony D'Angelo. So he came up with the idea that he will be turning his back on Tony D'Angelo and all this other stuff. So basically, Gallus walked into that trap and that sort of thing. But it's clear now that they have a clear path for the NXT tag team titles. But however, Gallus are not too keen or happy with the idea. But of course, D'Angelo and Stacks took care of them when they had their friends, the Crowbars, to deal the dirty mess they got themselves into. Now, Hayes and Williams were walking out until they were in fact bumped into the Schism, getting in face, and of course Ilya Dragunov has once again tried to ensure that Hayes stays 100% in shape for their upcoming match at the Great American Bash. However, it turned into a brawl between both sides, so that became chaotic. Our next match, we have Thea Hill versus Elektra Lopez. Now, Elektra Lopez find it offensive that Thea Hill was able to apply a submission move, the Kimura Lock. So she thinks that, that it's just a fluke. However, it was not a fluke. She was able, Thea Hill was able to apply the Kimura Lock and force her to tap out. And then, of course, she issued another challenge for a rematch against Tiffany Strand. And, of course, Tiffany Strand could not believe that she ended up once again in the Kimura Lock and forced her to tap out. So we probably can see a rematch between those two down the line. Now, Dominic and Rhea Ripley were preparing for Dom's upcoming match. Don shows up and tells Dom that he ran into an old friend of his while he was in prison. And of course not. But however, Lara Valkyria showed up to talk to Rhea because of what happened, because of what Jay-Z Jane did. So basically, Valkyria will try to rectify what happened last time between those two, so we'll see how that turns out. Our next match, we have Oro Mensah versus Eddie Thorpe. I thought this match was pretty good. I think many of us might have thought that Eddie Thorpe, since having a good win at the NXT Underground, he was viciously attacked by Dijak. I don't know what's the purpose of it, but the so-called Justice thinks that he had everything under control. But one way or the other, Eddie Thorpe will rectify that loss. But right now, I know for a fact he will be going after Dijak to make him pay for getting involved. Now, there's been a very interesting setup between both Dana Brooke and Kelani Jordan training each other in gymnastics, trying to prepare. As you know, Cora Jade finds this very interesting between those two. The resident mean girl getting involved in things that doesn't concern her. But I was told that there's going to be a candlestick match or so between Dana Brooke and Cora Jade. Now, we do see a little interview between Davenport and Roxanne Perez. Davenport made it perfectly clear in her interview that Roxanne Perez doesn't belong in NXT, that she said that once she beats her, she's not coming back, that she just should go home and never make it back to Orlando. But Roxanne Perez tries to say that she's tired of people telling her that she doesn't belong there, but Davenport believes that her words are the real deal. But one way or the other, Roxanne has to pull out the killer instincts that she has not been fulfilling. If I was Davenport, I would be more concerned until that day happens. Now, our next match is the NXT North American title between Dominic Mysterio and Wesley. I thought this match was pretty interesting. However, like always, Judgment Day will ensure that this match falls in their favor with interference and chopping, and apparently Dominic was able to pick up a win when he when he pinned Wesley to become the brand new NXT North American champion. This is a very interesting, but the obvious thing is what's going to happen now between Noam Dar. Dominic says he will not defend the title against has-beens or people who are asking for opportunities, that sort of thing. So we'll see how that turns out in the near future. I think that's pretty much it for our reviews. Let's move on with some news updates. Okay, welcome to our news updates. So let's get started. Our first updates are from the GCW stuff. We have the No Signal in the Hills that will take place on the 11th in LA. It was announced that Jack Cartwheel will be in action to take on Leon Slater, who was announced that he'll participate in several events by GCW. Now, for our homecoming event in night one, there's going to be a bit of a scramble of all-star lucha libre style. We have El Hijo de Vikingo, Gringo Loco, what's his name? Yeah, Commander, Aries, Alex Zane, and Ninja Max. So we have a six-way taking place. So that's going to be a bit awesome. Now, I mentioned this before. Yuri, who is the newly crowned Ice Infinity champion, will defend her title against Ami Manaze, the sister of Yuna Manaze, at the next GanJo event on the 11th of August, so that's going to be interesting. Prestige Wrestling has announced that for the Respect issue event taking place on the 24th of September, Shoko Nakajima from Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling will be making her appearance. Speaking of TJP, former TJP wrestler Marika Kobashi was announced that she'll participate with Pro Wrestling Eve on August 13th. I know she said she's talking about going to England to study English, so this could be the possibility. Now, bad news for Teddy Hart. As you know, Teddy Hart has been known to be in trouble on many occasions. The Fightful Select reports that Teddy Hart once again was arrested for possession of ecstasy and steroids in his car. So he could possibly be in big trouble for this one way or the other. Impact Wrestling announced it on the 28th and 29th of July. They'll be in Chicago at the Cicero Stadium, so that's going to be interesting. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla announced for the 20 Mystery Vortex on the 18th has been announced. We don't know who will participate, but anything is a possibility. Now, a ninth entrant for the All-Star Junior Festival USA is none other than the way of the Grandmaster himself, Master Wato. So that's been told. Matt Cardona has been announced to make an appearance at MLW Fury Road on the 3rd of September. So that's going to be interesting. Then we have West Coast Pro updates. Our first one, we have the West Coast Cup taking place on the 10th of August. We have Alan Angels versus Kevin Blackwood, and then we have for the women's title, we have Masha Slamovich versus Takumi Iroha. So that's going to be interesting. And then we have for from the West Coast with Love taking place on the 11th of September. Takumi Iroha will be taking a place. However, before that, Takumi will be in action to take on Masha Slamovich for that title. And finally, a very interesting development. As you know, Misa Kagura, an old friend of Yuri from Ganbare Pro, had a very interesting tweet that she posted out. Let me pull it up real quick. She said, I ran through a weekend of various full stimuli, a series of battles after a long time, a cockroach haunting a single match after a long time, a dream card came true. I was moved but to see Amu and Chamu crowned with the belt at Shinju girls, and Yuri, who played on Sunday wearing the Ice Infinity belt on Monday. Me too, I can make it come true. So it appears that Misa Kagura is now envious that two people that she had from her past are able to succeed. So that's kind of sad. But I will be talking more about that on the discussion. So stand by for that. I think that's pretty much it for now. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we got the next DWZ discussion. We'll be talking about Yoshi wrestler Yuri on her fantastic journey coming from Just Tap Out Professional Wrestling all the way to Ganbare Pro, where she found a whole lot of success, but of course had to deal with her past, with friends from Just Tap Out, and then finally winning a championship title that means so much to her. And of course, for our next episode, I will not be doing a review to be uploaded until Thursday. However, I will be reviewing AEW Dynamite. That will be released until Friday. So there's going to be a lot of things. But however, we will have, of course, the G1 Climax to continue. So we'll see about that until then. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I'm going to bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.